first thing we can see now is the leg flex, or lack thereof, which is on the right hand side. So a lot sort of softer in that knee flex there, okay? So a little bit of kind of flex there is fine, whereas before you had quite a bit of kind of flex there, just to create a sort of squatting position, making it harder for you to rotate really, and the more you were restricted, the more you had to almost try to exaggerate too much. Now the big thing for me now in terms of this sort of swing as you went back, to the club weight fairly decent in terms of the arm movement there, and got the golf club to a nice sort of position at the top of the backswing here, okay? It's a smaller swing as you can see, but same movement there, absolutely fine. Now as you came back down, this on the left hand side where the club kind of, sort of starts going over the top, because you're now rotating more than actually sort of sliding your lower half, you see your head sort of moving back a little bit there, knees sort of moving in the way they are as the hips sort of spin that way, okay? As you get to about this point, you can see the club now sort of out in front of your chest. But if you look at this movement now, yes, you're pausing, okay? Let's give you a chance to sort of think. As you start coming back down, look at the difference in your hand position now compared to that hand position, okay? So the hands are now in front of your chest. They're more in line in terms of the swing plane now down to the golf ball. Your arms out here to the golf ball. That's a steeper angle. So the steeper angle you're swinging on means you're going to be coming in with like a V-shaped type angle of attack rather than sort of soft, shallow U-shape, I suppose. As you start swinging the golf club back down here now, just before impact, we can see that club face now. The shaft at this point, as I say, dissects the golf ball here, whereas this is now with the club path coming back down more on the inside. There's your club path now coming to the golf ball. So that's going to be more conducive to centre strikes there. There's the one just for impact. That line there. You see the shaft now. So which part of the golf club we like to be hitting there now, more so in terms of the middle of the club rather than potentially the heel of the club, yeah? As you then twist through to target, obviously smaller swing as you said, but this one here now, the arms are swinging a long way left to swing that club. Yeah, you strike it well, goes left to right nicely. You don't strike it well, you shank it, and it squirts off to the right 45 degrees or something fairly low and what have you. You can also see in terms of the sort of movement here now as you release the arms more from kind of this direction, how your left elbow is certainly more down post impact, where this one's quite a high left arm. Generally sort of the left elbow there's generally a sign you kind of come outside and across, and the elbow just breaks, sort of just trying to support that club. It's got to go out that somewhere, okay? If the club starts working more in this way, it will generally be more elbow down. If the arm starts swinging too much this way, then that left elbow starts lifting up and popping outside, okay? So just generally working on that sort of setup for leg flex, okay? You've done that, and this is generally what we tend to see. Static changes, things that are set up, yes, they feel a bit strange, but you've done that straight away. First few swings felt a bit kind of really tall, then you got used to it, okay? Being aware of that and just keeping conscious of that change there so it doesn't sort of revert back into kind of the old habits here, which it will do on occasions, okay? Making sure we keep on top of that, okay? They're easier to make, however, this change on the transition now is going to take a bit of practice, okay? So the lower half from here now is going to move more towards target that way as this shoulder kind of comes down, okay? What you had was the hip to sort of spin round and this shoulder would then come forward, which throws the club out forward, which then produces the potential of out to in, shanks, steep, heavy, pulls, okay? You get it right because of the angle you're creating, goes a long way, really, really good, and quite a low, powerful fade. Take the loft out of your hands, it's not going to be as easy, okay? If you've got a bit of loft in your hands and you've got a 7 or a 6 iron and you come down steeper and de-loft it, the angle now is more like a 4 or 5 iron, hence the reason why your 6 and 7 go about the distance of a 5 or a 4 iron to a normal kind of golf speed, okay? Yeah, exactly. And again, hitting the ball a long way is not a bad thing, but it's how you hit the ball a long way. Yeah. If you're hitting the ball a long way by taking a 7 iron, I mean, I get a lot of guys go, oh, my 7 iron, 190 yards. If I go, oh, like 230, they should be 100 yards apart, not 20, 30 yards apart, okay? If you're using the right loft of a 7 iron to a driver and you're creating 180 yards with a 7 iron with a 7 iron loft, your driver should then be about 100 plus yards beyond that. If you're in a 7 iron and you're de-lofting, it's going 180, and you put a driver in with 10 degrees of loft and it can't stay in the air, so it just falls at the sky, you're creating false distances, okay? So a lot of guys hit the ball a long way with certain clubs, but then their measurements and their gapping's all over the place. That's what okay. They've got like a 7 iron goes like 180, a sand iron's going 56, or 56 is going like sort of 80, and then there's a big gap between all these different clubs, so you're struggling. And there's nothing then beyond 180 really. Your 4 or 5 iron going sort of similar distances, your high maybe 3 but not quite so good in the drive, maybe slicing off into the trees, okay, rather than being kind of like 15 yards gap between the clubs as you go through the bag, yeah? And just in terms of the consistency of strike, if your club's coming more from this direction, it's far easier for your club to strike the golf ball now at the middle of the golf club in that regard as it would be if it's coming from outside and across the golf ball there. Your club coming out to your arm, you can see your arms are away from your body quite a bit there. 3 frames later, they just disappeared into your left hip pocket there, okay? Whereas this one here now, they're a lot more into the body there, under the shoulders there, and now they're swinging a bit more visible here, kind of swinging the club a bit more towards target, yeah?
Yeah.
Rather sort of like swiping way across the left. So that kind of makes sense?
Yeah.
Excellent, good stuff.